closed session for discussion and/or action regarding those items of business exempt from open meetings under general laws of Rhode Island, RIGL 4246-5, A1, A2, A4, A8, A9.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our school committee monthly meeting in December. At this time, I'd like to do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I would like to ask everyone to remain standing for a moment of silence for our beloved principal, Jerry Habishaw. Thank you very much. Could I please get a vote to seal the minutes of executive session?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
And no votes were taken in executive session. At this time, we're going to start off with the public comment on agenda items only. I would just like to explain what that means. We have a sign-up sheet that is put out every meeting up front, if it's a regular meeting. And the first public comment is for anything that is on our agenda only. Our second public comment, that's towards the end of our meeting, is for non-agenda items, so you can speak about whatever you'd like. We need to keep this, that's the way it's run, that's what we do. We have a half hour for each one. Everybody, depending on how many people, gets 2 minutes. We can have 15 people speak if there's 2 minutes. And the other thing I'd like to mention is these meetings are for the school committee to do meetings. These are our meetings. These are not the public's meetings. It's for the public to please attend, which we always like to have people attend them. But they're here because we have to do our meeting. This is how we get our business done. We can't meet in rooms here and there. It's not allowed by law, so I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you. So we'll have our first agenda item. Darlene Necco.
Good evening. I'm commenting on agenda item number 8, which is the curriculum change for Wilson and foundations. Right now, we have a number of elementary teachers and some special ed teachers doing letters training, capital LETRS, and that is due to the Right to Read Act and RIDE's role in that act, which gives RIDE the authority to decide what programs a district can offer in order to fulfill the requirements of the act. That letters training, while a good training, is very, very time consuming. It's hundreds and hundreds of hours of time that teachers have to spend on their own. The district is doing its best to give the teachers school time, PD time. They're going to devote the May PD day to just personal letters work for teachers to catch up, but it's a very onerous program. Now, the district has been offering Wilson, has been offering foundations, and apparently neither of these programs is okay with RIDE to meet the requirements of this Right to Read Act. So, although they probably do meet the requirements of the act, RIDE gets to decide. If you recall, we have Wilson because it replaced reading recovery. We had reading recovery for many years. We even had a former elementary director come out of retirement to come tell the previous school committee not to get rid of it. Wilson was supposed to take care of any of those reading recovery needs, if some of you might recall this. So I'm just wondering if Wilson and foundations do not fulfill these requirements, why we're still offering them, if we should just do all letters or just pick something from RIDE's list, or does this have nothing to do with the Right to Read Act? I was just, these are just some questions I had, considering the amount of time teachers are putting into letters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's the end of the first public comment. We can move on now to recommended actions. Approval of minutes of the public sessions, November 16th, 2021.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And December 8th, 2021.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of warrants from December 14th, 2021.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And approval of transfers, December 14th, 2021.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next item is the announcements of personnel as presented. Mrs. Ruggieri.
SE program at Hoxie, and she has been with us for 43 years.
Wow.
And we also have Lori Pelosi, a teacher assistant kindergarten at Robertson, who's been with us for 20 years. So we wish them well and thank them for their many dedicated years of service to the students of Warwick. I do need a vote on those, please.
I move approval to accept the retirements.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much for all your years of service to those retiring.
Thank you. I have no resignations or leave of absences tonight. So our final courtesy announcements are for appointments. We'd like to welcome Tim McGrath as the Director of Finance with the district. We also have Molly Batista, Teacher Assistant Primary IASE at Cedar Hill. Amy Tepper, Teacher Assistant Intermediate IASE at Cedar Hill. And Kathleen Fitzgerald, Teacher Assistant One-on-One at Veterans. And again, love to welcome them to the district and hope they have a great experience. Thank you.
We need to vote.
No vote on those.
Nope. Other appointment. Well-
Also, coaches as presented in executive session, I'm sorry.
Welcome, Tim.
Thank you.
Okay. So next we have the recognition. We had another incident in our lovely schools. We had a heroic and quick response here right in Veterans Middle School by head custodian Rich Ho. Would you like to come up, please? And I think Mr. Coffey has something to say.
Members of the Warwick School Committee, Superintendent Danbrook, Assistant Superintendent McCaffrey, and members of the Warwick community. On Tuesday, November 9th, shortly after the lunch break here at Veterans School, we witnessed yet another fast-thinking, life-saving Warwick School employee jump into action to save someone's life. While leading the cafeteria cleaning crew, which at that time of day includes a number of Aramark workers, Veterans School head custodian Rich Huff heard someone cough from across the other side of our very large cafeteria. While no one else who was present gave it much thought, Mr. Huff reportedly asked, "Who coughed?" adding, "That's not a regular cough." Rich then moved to the other side of the cafeteria to learn that one of our Aramark workers was indeed in great distress and close to passing out. Rich jumped into action using the first aid training that he maintains as a dedicated Warwick coach. In doing so, he applied the Heimlich maneuver 3 times in order to remove the food obstruction that was lodged in the throat of the victim in this choking incident. I understand that this is actually the second time that Mr. Huff has saved a life with these skills. Mr. Huff, please accept from Superintendent Danbrook, Assistant Superintendent McCaffrey, Director Oliver, members of the Warwick School Committee, and the entire Warwick community these 3 small symbols of our gratitude. A simple thank you card, a modest gift card, and why not, a month's supply of Lifesavers. Thank you, Rich Huff, for exhibiting the skill and situational awareness to save a life.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great job, Rich. Next, we have donation announcements. We have 4 donations for this month so far. We received a $2,200 anonymous donation for holiday gifts for grade 1 and 2 students in our district. We also received $3,000 from Warwick Neck Improvement Association for indoor and outdoor recess equipment for Warwick Neck School. $1,500 from Warwick Neck Garden Club for Warwick Neck School Families in Need, and $1,000 from Warwick Neck Improvement Association for Warwick Neck School for Families in Need. We do have to vote on this to accept, you know? We just want to thank all those people for being so kind and generous to our school community.
Madam Chair, may I ask one question, and I'm not sure who to ask this of.
Sure.
When we get these donations and we fulfill the wishes of the donation, if it's not anonymous, do we let the donor know what we did, right? So what their donation accomplished?
Excuse me, I can answer that. So yes, we do. The first one, the anonymous donator, what we did was we took the donation and we divided it amongst the elementary schools. The person wanted to remain anonymous, but we did tell them, she specifically stated 1st and 2nd grade students. So most of the principals have gone out and purchased gift cards and are awarding those to families in need. As far as the other 3 donations, I have Mr. Galligan from Warwick Neck School here with me tonight, and he will keep a record of what has been purchased with those donations, and he will report back to the Warwick Neck Improvement Association and the Garden Club and give them updates about what's been purchased and how, sometimes we take pictures and show them that the kids are really enjoying.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you to Mr. Galligan for coming tonight.
Okay, on to new business. Discussion update for Extended Day Academy summary. Dr. Schultz and Mrs. Cousino.
Good evening, Madam Chairperson and school committee members and Superintendent Danbrook. Tonight, we are taking a look at our extended day program that we enacted for, I can speak on behalf of the elementary program, and then Dr. Schultz will speak about middle and high school. Because of our COVID interruptions, we had planned to do some extended day academies. Right now, we have over 34 teachers from the K-5 in the elementary schools being paid a small stipend to take on before or after school students. They'll be working on splintered skills in both ELA and math with some hands-on learning and activities and giving them some extra boost where they need it. And we sent out permission slips, and right now we have over 200 students in the elementary schools. We have 214 to date so far, but we have until next Wednesday for those permission slips to be returned. So for those of you at home that are watching in elementary schools, if you did get the permission slip, please send that back. We'd love to have your kids join us. We are maxing out at 12 students per grade or per class in that particular school, and then will be taught by their own classroom teacher. We thought, again, to help out with the SEL component, and it would be nice to continue to build those elementary relationships. So they are being taught by their own classroom teacher or someone within the building. 1 or 2, we couldn't make it happen, but the date for the classes are starting on January 10th, and it'll go 4 weeks. It'll go 8 sessions from January 10th to February 4th. And we will be including on day 2 and on day 8, we'll be giving them, the kiddos, a short little survey about what their expectations are. And then at the end of the class, we'll be giving them sort of a post survey. So we'll have some pre and post data to bring to you in February. And it is our hopes to continue. This is just round 1, and we're hoping to continue this program throughout the remainder of the year. With that being said, we do have some holes that we haven't been able to fill at some of the schools, and Dr. Schultz and I have reached out to a company that has been vetted by Dr. Cecil and Teachers in Providence that we know, and Catapult Company is helping us with some tutoring that we're in the middle of working out right now. We don't have all the details on that yet, but more to come on that.
Thank you. May I ask one question, Mrs.
Yeah,
Cousineau, before we
yes.
move on to the secondary? So, is it fair to say that if we end up with 266 respondents, we will have something for those 266 students?
Absolutely, as long as we don't go over that 12 per teacher, and if there was a 13 student, we would make it work.
Great,
So-
thank you.
Excellent.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. And just a comment on the secondary status. We have not quite as many teachers signed up at the secondary level, but we're working on that. We have 12 teachers so far at the high school and middle school level, and permission slips started to go home today. And we're going to be starting a week after the elementary starts. We're going to be running our program from January 18th through February 10th, doing something similar with data collection and making sure that the baseline, hopefully shifts into a positive mode as we move through the program. And just like Mrs. Cousineau said, we will be reaching out to Catapult Learning as well. We have a meeting coming up just to see if they can fill the holes. Everything is going to be paid through ESSER funds. Yep. Thank you.
Any questions? Thank you very much. Next is discussion action, Director of Finance Contract, Mrs. Ruggieri.
Hello again. We are respectfully requesting a positive action be taken on the contract for the finance director as presented in executive session.
I move approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And I have the next one as well. We are requesting favorable action on the contract addendum presented in executive session, changing the Secretary of Capital and Construction Projects to Department Coordinator.
Madam Chair, if I may just offer some further explanation. This position currently resides or is compensated from our operating budget. Because the position is strictly bond-related, everything this person does is tied to any bond work that we have. So the position exists as long as there's bond work to be done. So Mr. Gothberg is the construction manager for all the bond projects, and he's paid out of the bond funds as per the construct from RIDE. This position essentially just moves under him. It's been approved by RIDE. There's nothing to see here. It's just assigning the duties under the umbrella from which this individual should be compensated. So it's not an uncommon practice, and it just makes sense. And the building committee unanimously approved it as well. I would move approval.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Next item is discussion action for Warwick School, the 2022 School Committee meeting calendar. We've come up with our meeting calendar, and it is placed for January 11th, February 8th, March 8th, April 12th, May 10th, June 7th, July 12th, August 9th, September 13th, October 11th, November 8th, and December 13th. Most of our meetings usually start at 7 o'clock, and unless we amend these now, sometimes we have conflicts, and these will have to be changed, so I would suggest still look on our website for the information, because we do sometimes have conflicts. You don't have to vote on this or anything, right? Do we vote on this? Do I vote to approve this calendar?
Can I just make a comment? August 9th is, I believe, the day after the holiday on the 8th, which is VJ Day, and they call it Beach Day. So there will probably be a lot of people who go away, that's all I'm saying. Because it's solely a Rhode Island holiday.
Okay, we can look at that, and like we said, we can amend accordingly.
I'm sorry. I was going to make a motion to accept the calendar.
Okay.
I would make a motion to accept the 2022 school committee meeting calendar as submitted with a possibility of a change to the August date.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Okay, the next is discussion action, Warwick School Committee resolution change to RIGL 16-7-40CD.
Madam Chair, who's on this? Is this you or me? I think it's you, or me.
Or you?
Shall I read this?
I'm going to just explain what it is.
Okay, I can, if you would like to explain, you can. I was going to go over it
Yeah,
briefly.
I'll explain it, and then if we have to
Explain
read
it,
it into the record.
Okay.
What this is for, when the state passed the $250 million school infrastructure bonds, I don't know how many years ago it was, in it, there were two 5% additional incentives if the districts hit certain targets. Those were set to expire. So because of COVID and its impact on supply chain and projects, a lot of the districts are asking the state to extend those two 5% incentives. I hope the General Assembly will listen to the districts because, 10% on a $10 million project is a lot of money. So I would encourage my colleagues to approve this, and we'll join the other districts that have already done this. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, next, discussion update, monthly fiscal report. Requisitions approved, $500 to $4,999. Mr. McGrath.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the school committee. Before you, you'll find my monthly fiscal report for the period ended November 30th. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Mr. Testa?
Thank you. Madam Chair, I don't have any questions. Thank you, Mr. McGrath. It's still early in the budget year, and I just want to congratulate you on your new position. But I'm sure as the months go on, I'll have more questions for you on this. But tonight we get a reprieve. Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to congratulate you also, and I personally look forward to continue working with you and looking forward to having you in that position.
Thank you, yeah. We're facing many challenges, but I'm looking forward to tackling them head on. So.
May the force be with you. Do I have a motion to approve?
Move approval.
Oh, we don't have to do that, no.
Oh, that's right.
It's just an update. Thank you. Fabulous. Okay, discussion action, contract award, Superintendent 2021-2022, NES DEC affiliation, 12915. Mr. Ambrock.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the school committee, I'm asking your approval of a renewal of our NESDEC affiliation, which we use every year. An example of something they provide us is projected enrollments, so I ask your approval.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, discussion action, change order, curriculum, Wilson Language Training, Foundation Materials. Dr. Schultz.
Good evening, everybody. This is just a change order from something that was ordered over the summer for Foundations materials. And it is an additional $1,600 because items were back ordered. It's for additional shipping costs and things like that. I hope that you approve it. And I just wanted to also comment quickly on what Mrs. Netko brought up about her question. It's a really good one, and so thank you for bringing that up. Wilson, this training is an excellent training. The Foundations is geared towards younger students, and right now, in the past, we've focused on training teachers and reading interventionists in grades K to 1 in this program. It's heavily phonics based, and they talk about letter sounds, letter recognition, and then blending those sounds into words. And so it's very important that students have those skills as they move through the ranks, especially in K and 1. And so the difference between the Foundations here is that this focuses on those early learning skills that they need for literacy, where the letters training that we're putting the teachers through that goes along with the mandated Rhode Island Right to Read Act is for grades pre-K through 12. So it's a very broad scope training where it talks more about the science of reading and how the brain connects to reading, where the Foundations is really all about the phonics and how to read. So I just wanted to I hope that clarifies. And I just wanted to ask for you to please approve this change order. Thank you.
I move approval.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Dr. Schultz. Okay, on to the next is discussion action, contract award curriculum, I-Ready professional development. Again, Dr. Schultz.
Yes, thank you. We have a wonderful program that we use in our grades K through 8. It is our mathematics program, and with it comes professional development at each of our schools. And this year we've focused on the upper grades, grades 4 and 5, and also our math interventionists, and coaching them in order to really push into classrooms and just be a great asset to the school teams. And so I just am asking your approval to pay this bill that's outstanding for professional development through I-Ready.
Move approval?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Okay, next is discussion action, contract award special services crisis intervention workbooks. Mr. Coppolino.
Madam Chair, members of the school committee, can you hear me? I'm requesting approval to purchase 300 copies of the Nonviolent Crisis Intervention Prevention workbooks, which we use to train our staff in CPI.
What staff do you train?
So the Nonviolent Crisis Intervention Prevention CPI is basically a way to de-escalate. It trains our staff how to de-escalate students or de-escalate situations.
How are you going to de-escalate your staff when they get upset?
I'm sorry, what was that?
How are you going to de-escalate your staff when they get upset?
Well, I guess that's a whole other different workbook. So this is
Good
this is geared. Thank you, Patty. Yes, this is just really our the workbooks that we use to train our staff. It's a yearly training that everyone goes through, ultimately to de-escalate students that are in crisis.
Oh, Mr. Adams?
My only question is if this is budgeted or not. It doesn't state in the item.
Good
Considering
question.
if
I would assume this was budgeted.
Okay.
I mean, what, I mean, excuse me, but we've never gotten these before.
This training.
Yeah, this is the first time we've ever been made aware of it, and I
I'm
know
aware
that the
that-
teachers in the,
It's my understanding that this training has been done yearly by our district-wide behaviorist.
okay, it's never been brought to us before. So, or it was slid in, so,
She may have phrased it differently.
maybe. So I've just,
I'll take a look into that, for you.
but are you educating special ed teachers?
This
And
is, my understanding, it's more, it's for our teaching assistants,
teaching assistants?
and then, so it could be used for any teachers beyond the special ed. It could be used for any student who's in crisis.
Yeah. You could set up a crisis team in each school, too.
Yes, and we're working on mental health guidelines right now, which identify crisis teams. We should have that done probably, we have one in place. I'm meeting with the psychologists and social workers right now, and we're putting the final touches on those guidelines, and they should be rolled out to the principals and whatnot at the start of the year.
They're going to be policies?
They're guidelines, so I don't know. I guess we could talk about whether or not we want to make that a policy, but it's really just a guideline on how to address mental health situations that arise based on the level of the situation.
Would you be willing to review that with Dr. Cecil?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Would you be willing to review that with Dr. Cecil?
Yes, of course.
Yes, please.
Yeah,
She is in charge of policy for the district, so
absolutely.
thank you.
Madam Chair, I have one question.
Sure.
Mr. Coppolino, you put in this that the workbooks are necessary for our yearly CPI training for teacher assistants to be certified. So
Correct.
you have to do this, right?
In
This
order
is-
for folks to maintain their
maintain
certification,
their
it's a
certification.
yearly training.
Right, okay.
So it's not an online, they can't do it online?
So with CPI, they have done a hybrid, model where you can do some online, but there is a part of it that, ultimately it's an in-person training.
I'd move approval.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, number 11, discussion action, change order maintenance, transmission shop repairs. Mr. Oliver?
Good evening. Requesting your approval on this change order. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Any questions?
Approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Discussion action, contract award maintenance, gym floors recoating and rebranding. Mr. Oliver?
I'm requesting your approval on this contract. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Madam Chair, I do have one question.
Sure, Mr. Testa?
It says it's for Windman only, but with 12,437, but the accompanying document shows Windman and Vets.
That's correct.
So it's both schools? Okay,
That's
just
both
wanted-
schools, yeah.
I just wanted to be clear on that. Thank you.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, discussion action, bid award, WACTC, Health Occupations, the EMT Program bid extension. Mr. Machado, Mr. Kane.
Madam Chair, members of the school committee, this contract is for the American Safety Programs to be extended for this year to provide EMT training for the students in the Health Occupation Program, and it's the extension of an existing contract that we have in place.
Madam Chair, one question for Mr. McCaffrey.
Sure.
Mr. McCaffrey, I'm happy to see this, because as you know, you and I had a conversation to put this into that program. Just for the public's edification, I mean, our health occupations program can put a student on a path to become a certified EMT, right? So it's not, before it was more CNA oriented,
Yep.
but, so that's something that I think we should, this is a feather in our cap, in my opinion, so. And I hope that going forward, it attracts more people to that program.
Absolutely.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
The next is discussion action, contract award, WACTC, Snap-on Tools. Again, are you handling this?
Yes.
Okay.
Did you jump into 15?
Oh, I did. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep, we did. We're going to do the NEIT SPATE program first.
Sure. The New England Tech Institute of Technology SPATE program provides the automotive program, construction program, marine trades program with specific training, curriculum, and professional development. This is grant funded through the Perkins Grant, and it's endorsed by RIDE. I ask passage.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, now we're going to do the Snap-on Tools. Are you handling all of Mr. Kane's,
Yes.
Mr. McCaffrey? Okay.
Yes. Okay, the Career and Tech Center is looking to upgrade some tools, and they're looking to purchase some tools through the Snap-on Industries. They have a sole source document provided to you here, and it's something that, the tools that are recognized by their Program Advisory Committee as trade industry-specific tools necessary to work in the field. I ask passage.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we have the supply open purchase orders, the new electrical wholesalers, Rexel, Mid-City Steel, change order for National Lumber, Coventry Lumber, and JZA Training Systems.
Sure.
Are you-
All the open purchase orders are for supplies for the different trades within the school. It's funded through the state, through categorical funds. No local dollars are being utilized for the open purchase orders that are before you this evening.
Move approval.
Second, and I have a question.
Yes,
for
Mr. Testa.
McCaffrey. So, Mr. Caffrey, is this, as I read this, are we changing how we're doing this because of the supply chain issues? Instead of having a PO, you get shorted 30% of it, you close it, cut a new one. We just want to leave these open.
I mean, as your experience on the construction committee, the pricing just keeps fluctuating drastically, and it's very difficult to budget for supplies in September and make a purchase in November or December, and you're shorting yourself on what you need for instructional materials.
Right, so you could be, what could cost you $107 now could be price prevailing at time of shipment when we actually need it, right? And
Yes.
This will pass eventually, so you can go
Hopefully.
back to having more certainties in September of what you're going to be needing to spend.
And their concern is having the appropriate instructional materials and supplies available for the kids while they're working on their projects on a daily basis.
Okay, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next one is the health and occupation supplies.
Okay. I ask passage on these supplies for the health occupations program. They're necessary for teaching and learning to take place within the health occupations program of study.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The next is the cameras and supplies for the graphics program.
Once again, the supplies necessary to support the program for the teaching and learning to take place within the program of study.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The next one is the discussion, action, bid award, technology, single source bid recommendations. Ms. Machado and Dr. Taylor? Oh, there you are.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm
I was
down here in
looking for you.
the cheap seats tonight. So, what we have before you is a pretty straightforward one. Every so often we go out to bid single source for all of the technology that we may come to you in the future to purchase. Everything from laptops to Chromebooks to Promethean boards and so on. And as you can see from the documentation, after the competitive bid process, we had 2 vendors that came back. And in my documentation, I recommend who to go to for what, always shopping for and looking for the best pricing.
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Dr. Taylor. And you are up again for the contract award for technology VMware licenses and support.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the school committee. This item is the annual renewal of the VMware software. VMware is what allows all of the devices that connect virtually, specifically in our CAD lab and throughout our offices in the district, to do so. So it is a budgeted expense, so I respectfully request approval.
Move approval?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next one is contract award technology network upgrades for data center, Pilgrim and Tollgate. Dr. Taylor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This item was previously approved through the emergency approval process, coming to you tonight for formal approval. These were budgeted network upgrades that were included in the annual budget, making network upgrades to the data center, which supports the entire district, making connections faster, as well as Pilgrim and Tollgate. And the reason for the emergency approval is to take advantage of the Thanksgiving weekend and a few days off that we had there to get those projects started.
Madam Chair, I'll move approval, and I just have a question for
Sure,
Dr.
Mr.
Taylor.
Testa.
So is this completed, or is it still being done?
It is approximately 75% completed,
Okay.
mostly done at Pilgrim. The data center with Tollgate left to wrap up. And this includes both the engineering hours for the configuration as well as the utilization of hardware that we had purchased in the past, getting that installed and up and running.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay.
Number 22 looks like Mr. McCaffrey.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you again, Dr. Taylor. The next one is discussion action change order, secondary Pilgrim Tech, and the bandsaw.
Sure, so we're looking for approval for a PO change request and account transfer regarding PO 220000448. This particular item was, just what Mr. Testa was talking about with the change in the cost of the item when it was time to order, so.
I move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Machado. Discussion action, bond funded projects, contract award commissioning services for Windman renovation, and the contract award for high school projects surveying work. Mr. Gothberg.
That's going to be me, because
Oh, you're going to handle it? Okay. Mr. Testa.
Okay, the first one is an award to Stephen Turner in the amount of $38,500. It's for a commissioning service for the Windman HVAC project. Commissioning services are required by RIDE when you're doing bond projects. So this went out to bid. I believe we had 2 bidders, one at 62 and change, and Turner at 38.5. This is paid for out of the capital reserve fund that the city was gracious enough to allot to us from some PAYGO money from previous bond work. So it is not coming from our operating budget. And the second one is for the high school project. One of the requirements that you have to do is survey work, which includes flyovers, all sorts of topography and things like that. And this is for Garofalo and Associates, who was I believe the low bidder, for $76,400, again, paid out of the capital reserve fund. So we'll just move approval.
Second.
Madam Chair?
Yes, Mr. Cornell.
Yeah, so Mr. Testa, just curious, so the flyovers, is that being done by drones?
Yeah, I believe it's drones, 'cause the question I had was why couldn't you just use Google Maps? But you can't, so they have to go through, there's a whole process involved. So yeah, there would be drone flyovers of the area that would potentially house the school.
Okay,
So-
thank you.
And geothermal something surveys. It's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a very involved process, that much I know.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for answering my question.
Can I get a motion? It has? Okay. All in favor for both A and B?
Aye.
Aye.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Testa, for handling that. And now we move on to the second public comment. However, no one signed up for it. Did you? Oh, okay, I see it over here. Okay, Ms. Necco, come on down. What is with that light?
Hello again. My first public comment is going to be, I don't think you should have to sign up for the second public comment. I understand signing up for the first public comment because it's on agenda items only. But as you can see, I put my name down there and I put both. I wrote at the end, and there was some confusion. So I think because people might want to say something based on what has happened during the course of the meeting, and if they didn't know that something was going to come up, they wouldn't know to have signed up. I did just in case, and now I do. I don't think we should have to sign up for the second public comment. But what I would like to also, I just want to recognize the hard work that the Warwick Teachers Union members and really all members of the Warwick Public Schools are doing still during a pandemic. Everyone is giving 100,000% to ensure that the students are receiving the best education that they can. We have, our nurses in particular are working double duty to contact trace, to ensure that all the information that needs to get out there gets out there. The district is working to alleviate some of the strain that started the beginning of the year by hiring weekend and night staff. We might need some more to get that job done. We have our classroom teachers continuing to have to engage with different technologies, especially as students quarantine. And, we had Scott Elementary, I think about a third of the school was out at one point, either with COVID or quarantining because of COVID. We have our social workers, psychologists, counselors, OTs, PTs, speech, working on social emotional learning. We have our special education teachers doing, double and triple duty also. I just wanted to recognize all the hard work everyone is doing. This year, we don't have the extra cleaning staff that we had last year, so there's an extra anxiety because of that. We still have classrooms that don't have windows. That makes it difficult to air places out. But everyone is doing the best that they can to ensure that the students get the education that they deserve. And I just wanted to recognize that for everybody in the district and to wish everyone happy holidays.
Thank you very much. Likewise to you. And next, we have future meetings. We have our monthly school committee meeting on Tuesday, January 11th, 2020. I'd like to wish everybody very happy holidays, very safe and happy holiday. And let's ring in the new year. We're almost there. Hopefully 22 will bring us less COVID. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.